How we doing, gang? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of FlamesNation Live. Steinberg with you from our Sportsnet 960 downtown studio. Hopefully your Wednesday is going along nicely. Good chunk of peeps already with us to kick things off. Gorav in first. I think that's the first time Gorav's ever been in first. Dallas second, Pat third. Get your comments and questions in on the live chat right now. If you're joining us live on Facebook Live, get your thoughts in right now. If you're joining us after the fact, well, just hang around for the conversation. There's lots to get to. FlamesNation Live brought to you by DoorDash, where we really, really encourage you to go download the app, create your account, and use the promo code FNLiveDD for a percentage off and free delivery on your first order. FlamesNation Live brought to you, as always, by our friends at DoorDash. So, not a lot of graphics, not a lot of things to pop on your screen. Thought we could just make this a quick conversational one today. Just do a kind of back and forth bounce off the live chat. Flames fall 3-2 in a shootout on Tuesday night in Nashville, and what I thought was a really fun and somewhat playoff-like game as it went along. It started really sleepy, but as things went along, I thought it really started to get more and more playoff-like and felt more and more like an intense hockey game. And you can never recreate the playoffs in the regular season the same way you can never recreate the regular season in the preseason. But for a regular season game, I thought it was intense. Crowd added to that. There was some physicality. Flames with a nice comeback. Obviously, there won't be a shootout in the playoffs if these two teams meet. But I guess my biggest takeaway, and I'd be curious as to what you think, I guess my biggest takeaway would be that if these two teams were to meet in the playoffs, I don't think there's much between them. I think it would be a long, hard-fought series, and I think it would be a really important series for the Flames to be a part of. And I think that it would be the type of series that if the Flames found a way to win, they'd have to dig deep. They'd have to get some really good performances from some unsung heroes. They'd need outstanding goaltending, but it would be the type of series that I think that they could use as a propeller going forward. Like, holy, we just beat a really good team, and that took it out of us. And I think that would set them up to have more success into round two. And if you were to ask me right now, if there's a needle and this way is Nashville and this way is Dallas, I think the needle is pointing towards Nashville. Not all the way. It's not pinned yet, but I think it is leaning towards the Predators being the team. They will play in round one. They play them once more in the regular season. Then we'll see if that's the playoff matchup. But if it is, I think it would be a really entertaining series from a hockey standpoint. I would choose Calgary to win in it, but I think it would be close. I think it's a 6-game series at least. And here's the thing. I think from a league-wide standpoint, there'd be a lot of talk about how good that goaltending matchup would be. UC Saros is legit, if you ask me. Markstrom's got more time under his belt. He's older. He's more experienced. But I don't see a massive gap between Calgary's goaltending and Nashville's goaltending again if they end up meeting in the playoffs. I enjoyed that game on Tuesday night, and I thought there was some really good things the Flames accomplished. Mangiapane scoring a couple of goals, coming back from a 2-goal deficit. Dan Vladar playing well. Backlund was engaged. Coleman was good. They were physical. They didn't back down from Nashville's physicality. There were some good things in that game from Calgary, despite only getting the 1 point. I think it would be a really good series. I think it would be I don't want to say winnable, but I think that Calgary could win that series. It would just be a hard-fought series win to do. Okay. Get your thoughts in on the live chat. We'll get to those in just a second because would love to interact with you. We'll make that most of our Flames Nation live today. Before we do that, let me remind you that after lighting the lamp, go hit the showers with the all-in-one skin and hair care kit that covers you from head to toe, literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAMES. Once again, go to manscaped.com, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAMES. And I tell you, if if you are very into the fine grooming on the face, if you do the facial hair and you like to, Manscaped is the place to go. Go check them out and use that promo code FLAMES for free delivery and 20% off. Doesn't get much better than that. Let's get to the live chat. Going all the way up. Dustin started us off, says, guys, rough loss. Boys look tired the first. Good to see them fight until the end. And I thought that was also an impressive part of the victory is that they fought hard, did a nice job of being able to come back and get a point in that game. Matt says they'll have to watch the penalties if they play Nashville. Agreed, but, I thought that there were the too many men in overtime was borderline, and the Mangiapane penalty was just awful. Not on Mangiapane's part, but it was a bad call. It wasn't a penalty. But yes, I mean, Nashville's got a good power play, and they. They made good on it, but Calgary still went 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. Dallas says, since they're going to clinch this division, could they play Valimaki, Mackey, Ruzicka, Pelche, and Godin for a few games? Problem with that is you've only got 2 recalls remaining. So I could see them in the final few games, especially on that road trip. I could see them recalling 2 more and getting them in there because they won't have any salary cap worries, but you've only got 2 recalls left. Now you can fudge it a little bit and say the guys aren't available. The NHL doesn't really crack down too hard on the 4 recall rule. But do I think that we'll see some young players? I do, especially on those 3 final games on the road trip. But I don't know if it'll be all those guys. And let's also remember that Stockton's trying to do something in the playoffs as well, and they don't want to take too much away from the Heat as they try to lock up number 1 in the AHL Pacific. Ty says whoever wins a Flames-Preds matchup will be banged up for the next round. That's the only reason I'd rather face Dallas. There was a combined 70 hits in that game last night. I do agree that it would be a physical series. However, I don't buy as much into the 70 hit number just because it felt like everything was a hit in Nashville last night. Hits is such a bizarre stat because it fluctuates. Like a shot's a shot, right? And a shot attempt's a shot attempt. A save is a save. But in some buildings, this is a hit. And in some buildings, you got to run into them like a full-bore freight train for it to be a hit. So, 70 was a little bit much, but I do agree, Ty. I'm nitpicking and being a dink. I do think that it would be a very physical series, and I do think both teams, whoever comes out of there, will be beat up. But in saying that, I also think that it's the type of series that you come out of, and you're like, okay, we know what it takes to win a hard-fought series. If Calgary were to get by Nashville, if they were to play, I'd like Calgary's chances to get out of the second round too. I would. But getting out of the first round is the first step. Pat says he agrees, but he'd also like to see Nashville beat up Colorado in the first round. Fair enough. What else we got here? If Dallas loses to Edmonton and Calgary, that realistically solidifies Nashville as the round 1 opponent, right? Yes, absolutely. I think that would take a big step in solidifying that. Brooke says, I think the team needs to play like every game's meaningful until the playoffs. It's a must. Need to ramp it up now and keep the gas on. And they're trying. And I thought they did a decent. It's not easy. Like it's easier said than done. Far easier said than done to play like the playoffs in the regular season when you're clinched, and it's not easy. And I think that they want to, and they're trying, and they're focusing. But every team flips a switch to some extent once they get to the postseason, and that's just the nature of the game. But I do think that there's something to that. I understand what you're saying, Brooks, but it's not as easy as sometimes we make it seem on the outside, I don't think. This from Zach. Saw the debate on Twitter today posted by Barstool. Can the Calgary Flames win the Stanley Cup? It's an interesting topic. Money Puck has them with the best odds, but in my opinion, there's probably 5 teams. Calgary, Colorado, Tampa Bay, Florida, and St. Louis or Pittsburgh. I hate jumping ahead, but it's nice to see them finally in the conversation. I agree. Travis says, if the playoffs started today, what would the forward group lines look like? Here's the thing for me. The number 1 priority in my mind between now and the end of the regular season is solidifying the middle 6. You need to get Backlund going. 100%. You need Backlund at his peak two-way best in the playoffs. If they're going to go on a long run, Backlund's got to be a part of it. So you need to figure out the middle six. I don't think the makeup right now is ideal, but that is the biggest priority, is figuring out what the ideal middle six combinations are and then making sure that they're on point, and most importantly, whatever line Backlund is on. And I think Backlund, Mangiapane, Coleman's the ideal look. That's just me. But whatever line Backlund is on, you need to ensure that Backlund is driving things and is being a force at both ends of the ice, not just defensively. And he is always reliable defensively. But when he is also driving things offensively, this team is significantly harder to beat in a game and, in my eyes, in a playoff series. What else we got here at 960? That's the text line on our radio and podcast show. On the live chat. Thanks for being with us on the live chat, by the way. And this kind of adding on to that from Ty, what are your thoughts on the second line? Obviously, Backlund's the second line center, but he doesn't seem to have much chemistry with Mangiapane and Toffoli. I'd love to see Coleman and Lewis back with him as an elite shutdown line, and get a look at Ruzicka between Mangiapane and Toffoli. That's an interesting look, actually. But I go take a look at the underlying numbers of, and they've played about 350 minutes together this year at even strength. The underlying numbers of Backlund, Coleman, Mangiapane together, elite. Because I think there is plenty of built-in chemistry with Backlund and Mangiapane. You add Coleman to that line, they've been dynamite. Bonkers good this year. And I still think going back to that as a second line, and then you can go Yarncroke, Dubé, and Toffoli if you want as a 2B line, that to me is really, really intriguing from a matchup standpoint. And if that can get Backlund going, then I think that it's really, really important. First of all, I think that is really important to do. And second of all, I think it's a really important thing to look at. And Caden says, what do you think the final line combinations are going to be for the playoffs? And will it be Ruzicka or Carpenter? And that's going to be really interesting too. I wonder if Carpenter gets back in. Not to say that Richie played poorly, but I wonder if Carpenter gets in against Dallas on Thursday and you see him get another go. I think they're also still evaluating what the best look is in that regard. So that's really curious. I don't know yet. I was liking what Carpenter was doing for a little while there. Then I did not like him against Vegas. Hasn't played since the Vegas game. So I'd like to see Carpenter get another run. And then from there start to evaluate what the best looks are. But yeah, and maybe it's not even just the middle six that I think is important. Maybe it's the bottom nine that they need to figure out exactly what the best look is. So I still think there's lots to figure out in the 5 games in the regular season they've got left. And then they finish on next Friday, and they probably start on the Tuesday. Then they'll have some practice time to work things out as well. It's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. Really interesting to see how it all plays out. As we start to wind down, you still have some time to get some questions in and some comments in on the live chat. But a reminder as we start to wind things down to head over to the App Store or to Google Play. If you're an iPhone user, go to the App Store. If you are an Android user, go to Google Play and download the official Calgary Flames keyboard. It's from our friends at Keymoji. And as we move towards the playoffs, the Flames are clinched. You've got an opportunity to really customize, whether it's Twitter, whether it's your WhatsApp group chats, or just your texting, whatever the case may be. Go download the official Calgary Flames keyboard on the App Store or on Google Play. It'll make your playoff experience and maybe some of your bragging a little bit better. Few more on the live chat. Caden, how many more starts does Vladar get? He seems to be playing very well. I think he gets 2 more before the end of the regular season. Kyle's on board. Put Mangiapane, Backlund, and Coleman back together. Robert says, I think Dubé and Mangiapane will both have a great playoffs. I also like Ruzicka centering the 4th line. Dubé's a name we have not mentioned a lot of today. Dubé could be a huge X factor for this team in the playoffs. I say that because of how good he was in the 2020 bubble, and I say that because Daryl Sutter has made mention of it. We've talked about it before on the radio before. Dylan Dubé's got a history of raising his game or coming to play or answering the bell when games are at their biggest. World Juniors, Kelowna Rockets, bubble playoffs in the NHL. I'm really curious to see what Dylan Dubé's impact is come the postseason as well. Great stuff on the live chat. Always appreciate the interaction. Flames Nation Live is brought to you as always by DoorDash, and DoorDash brings you so many things across the Nation Network and Daily Face-Off. We know they're involved on the DFO Rundown. We know they're involved on Flames Nation Radio with Pike and Shane, and they bring you Flames Nation Live each and every time as well. Flames Dallas Thursday night. If you're not going, DoorDash yourself some dinner for the game, and we'll talk to you probably next week. We did Sunday and Wednesday this week, so probably Monday of next week is our next chance to chat on Flames Nation Live. Nonetheless, if we talk before then, awesome. If not, join us then. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy the final 2 home games of the regular season, and we'll talk to you again soon. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. It's been another edition of Flames Nation Live brought to you by DoorDash. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.